All right, Matt, you want to tell everybody where we are? That's correct. We're here in awesome motor play in Coppell, Texas.
There we go.
Where we play nothing but, well, we play more than Hero Clicks.
We do play more.
Sundays, it's always Hero Clicks.
There we go.
You want to introduce ourselves, I guess?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. My name's Raven. This is Matt.
As always.
As always,
Yes.
this new episode of the Stop Click,
There we go.
we'll be talking more about the meta. Seeing as ROC is about to just wrap up.
Yeah, we have Rocktober. We have the finals coming up very soon. We have there's only a few more events left if you want to get your seat in for if you want to win an ROC to get your seat
Origins
in.
is coming up.
Yeah, it's
Pretty damn close.
here we go. We're about ready to see some world-class teams. Second biggest HeroClix event that there is.
Biggest.
The first being
is-
Worlds. Yeah, the first being Worlds.
Yes.
Okay. Second one is Origins. But anyway, what we're going to talk about are things we've seen in the meta. We've had some time to really play with a lot of the mechanics, the ID cards, the Quinjet.
Yes.
What do we think? What do we think is going to show up in high-end games? Occasionally you see a team and you're just completely amazed by the ingenuity of the person behind it.
Not only that, but the creativeness behind it.
Yeah. We saw this last week. He didn't win the tournament, but he got very, very far.
He should have won.
He should have
won.
won.
He wins.
There was a gentleman that played 5 Phalanx Ultron drones at the same time, and I was just blown away because I didn't actually understand the team initially. I'm like, why does he have ID cards? They can't call anything in.
But
they can because they're treated as 120 points while they're on the field for 30-point characters. Plus, they all had entities, or 3 of them had entities on them, which gave him a +8 to his map roll because his entire team was cosmic. And I was like, this is an incredibly clever team. But the team that won that ROC was a zombie team base, which we've seen at Worlds. We've seen the zombie team base sans resources really do a lot of work. But it kind of fell out of the wayside when we saw the Felix Faust teams pop up. It kind of fell by the wayside when we saw.
Has he been ratted?
Felix
Yeah,
Faust,
he's been ratted.
He's been officially ratted. I don't actually know if he's been unbanned in ROC then. I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Like, 'cause remember, he was banned outright in ROC before
yeah.
the errata. I don't know if he's unbanned. I really should find out.
Do that.
But anyway, so what have we seen recently that we really, or played with personally, that we really think are massive? I know your favorite is probably this Quinjet.
Third episode in a row. Probably going to be talking about the next episode. The episode after that is this thing. I love this piece so very much. I can't explain to you how much I love this thing. Like the only word that comes to my head is value.
It's value, and it gets a lot done. We always like pieces that are 50, 75 points that just do an incredible amount. The new Nighthawk Prime, which once again, new meta piece, falls in that, does such a powerful effect for the points you spend in it. I think the Quinjet does the exact same thing.
Nobody was believing what I was saying. Everybody was like, oh no, we don't see the meta until we started playing.
Yeah,
and then you change your tune, and the only thing I could hear you say is, why won't this thing die?
Yeah.
18 clicks or 17 clicks of health for 140 points.
And reduces penetrating
And
damage.
reduces penetrating as a trait. Are you
trait.
kidding me?
Carries
This
4
thing-
people.
It carries 4 people. Top dial, it has defend.
Yeah.
And you give it a free action, give somebody outwit.
Yeah.
For 140 points? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Running shots.
We've seen we've seen a lot of work out of that Quinjet. Even at 70 points, which I think is more probably meta viable.
Yeah.
We've seen 8 clicks of health on any piece that's out there that reduces penetrating damage. That's almost too much for what people get out of it.
Not to mention it counts as 3 ID cards.
It does count as 3 ID cards. Now the resource dial, I think it might be a tad too slow. I think that's the big problem with the resource.
I think you just have to keep calling people in.
You have to just keep
I
calling
think that's
people
what it is.
in.
You roll the d6 whenever you
just
resource is the opposite side, counts 5 extra points, and what it does is it starts off at 10 points, ends at 300 points, and every time you either clear or take damage, you click it once.
Or call in the character.
But no, if you call in the character, you roll a d6 and click it that many times. So if you continuously call in ID characters, you can click it over and over again, get it to where you want, and then its other ability is you call in a character whose point value is equal to or lower than the point value shown on the resource dial. That character is no longer an ID character.
Yes.
And it does not ignore pushing damage, and if it takes 1 damage, it goes away.
It goes away.
But
However,
it stays on the field
permanently until it hits until one of those things
Now,
happens.
what a lot of people are doing, or a lot of people have found out, is that you call in this person, the Cap and Black Widow duo.
For the Winter Soldier movie.
Yes. Then you split because it's no longer an ID character.
Yeah, you split and merge.
And only one of those characters
has to go away.
Yeah, can't ignore willpower or can't ignore pushing damage and doesn't go away. So that potentially means that you can get there's the 80-point Black Widow and there's a 50-point Cap.
Yeah, there's the 50-point starter Cap, which everybody loves and doesn't need to go into battle.
Yeah.
Like
for 5 extra points, you're going to either get a 50-point piece or an 80-point piece.
If the game goes long enough, this is a trump card at the end game. Being able to pull out, this Cap, which we already know this Cap is meta. We've seen this Cap show up for the Hypersonic Hulk.
Yeah.
One shot. Just, I'm going to deal 8 damage to you.
And you're not going to do anything
and I have a 22 range on my first turn, or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. So we've seen this Cap just be big. But like being able to bring these two in and split them off into this guy and the 80-point Black Widow, which you get to keep, and this guy, if he does his job one time, moving somebody for free.
Somebody that shares a keyword with him, right?
Yeah, sure.
Which is Avengers.
Yeah, basically.
Which is what the Quinjet is.
Yeah, so we can do all sorts of fun things there. Really, really good, solid piece.
So let's check this out. Yeah. For 190 points, not even 200 points, you get 50-point Cap with this cool movement ability. You get the 140 Quinjet. So you give him the action, give the Quinjet a free movement. That's 6 squares. Bam. Yeah. And then you running shot for another 6 squares, and you're 6 range. That's an 18-point swing. Yeah. Or 18-square swing right there. Yeah. With precision strike, 3 damage.
Yeah. There's a lot of value that we can see coming out of these pieces, especially with the way that the resource dial works. However, the game has to go on that long, or you have to be fully prepared to spam your ID cards. And the thing is, there's a couple of people that I think are great at doing it. Anybody who falls in that nice 100-point range, there are a ton of viable figures to call in at 100 points. 100-point Hulk.
AVX door, running shot,
pulse wave. You don't even care if he goes away at the end of the turn.
Wonder Man at 65 points, which gives everybody invincible.
If he hangs out, like I said, if you're going to do the defensive turn where you're going to take a bludgeoning, running in for getting invincible on all your characters for a turn can really turn the tide. Like nobody wants to have to try to figure out how to get their damage in. Against Wonder Man. And Wonder Man also at 65 points, and there's a lot of 65-point characters, can charge super strength 4 damage.
4 damage. So without even the item. Yeah. Throw in an item, a heavy object or something?
Obviously a heavy object, not an ultra heavy.
Not ultra heavy because he's under 100.
Yeah, so, we're talking the ability for a called-in character to just, truly wall somebody in the early game. And push your Quindal resource that much further to the Cap and Black Widow combo.
Yeah.
Really, the Quinjet, the real question is, because we can't run 2 resources. As far as I know, there's so the 5 points you give up there for trying to make something happen with probably a Green Lantern battery, they're arguably the second most powerful resource currently. Or
what's the first powerful?
Well, I think the orange battery is considered the most powerful. It's showed up probably the most in top 4.
And what does that do?
Well, what happens is there's a color coding thing where if you have a yellow power, you give the battery a power action, and they can't use any yellow powers. It denies them. So you figure out.
They don't have to be within range or anything.
No, it just they're denying. Like I said, no, it's very good at denying people the ability to do things. Green was real big because it prevented free action spam, and that's why we saw a lot of green. But that seems to have fallen by the wayside once tactics were in. Yeah. You will see a green battery occasionally, but orange outright denying people powers is very, very common, and has seen a lot of play.
Oh, another thing that I saw somebody was talking about was using the Beyonder with vehicles.
The Beyonder.
Oh, he's the one. He's the Marvel version of Bizarro. Yeah. He's got all those powers and abilities on every dial. Yeah. And so you use a vehicle secondary ability to take powers and attack and damage. Yeah. And you just take whatever you want from the Beyonder.
And he changes quite often. But you can figure out where you want your Beyonder, and then put him as a pilot, and then have him just cruise around and destroy things. Really, the Quinjet, the new vehicle rules really fixed vehicles in a really nice way. Oh, man. Because the only real viable vehicle, there was two. The one was the police car where you just keep running over your opponent over and over again. And the other one was the Bat Cycle.
Yeah,
the Bat Cycle.
Bat Cycle. You saw a lot of Bat Cycles.
We saw a lot of Bat Cycles.
I used a lot of Bat Cycles.
Well, because stealth is amazing.
Yeah.
Being able to just go free action
smoke cloud after
free
you
action,
move
free
and all
action
that
smoke
stuff.
cloud.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was the barrier to make sure that everybody behind you had smoke cloud, and it had smoke cloud, so it was stealthed up. So we saw a lot of very interesting pieces that play like that. Another piece that we've seen, I'll be honest, it's probably the piece I've seen called in the most is Ronan. Mostly because charge flurry is for 3 points is really, really good, or just charge exploit weakness.
Blade's Claws.
Yeah, you can do either of those when you bring in Ronan.
He has a nice little pocket.
Now you do have to find a character that's high enough to play.
Yeah, he's at the 109 point range,
which is kind of awkward, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 100-point pieces that we've seen Meta play. There's quite a few like lower end pieces.
How many points is Super Scroll? Zombie Super
Scroll is 170, but Zombie Super Scroll only really falls in the meta when we have
no resources.
Because Green Lantern Battery
will ruin the Zombie Super Scroll.
Basically makes Zombie Super the worst character ever. Like it's completely unviable once the Green Lantern Battery's on the other side. It happens.
Another piece that I think we might see some of, especially in lower 300-point teams, is going to be the Prime Peggy Carter.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, if she wasn't in a set with Nighthawk, she'd be the best Prime in the set.
Yeah.
Which is saying something to her power level.
Yeah. At 60 points, you get a shield character, of course. Running shot, energy explosion, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Her damage power is where it's at, actually, because beginning of your turn, you choose a standard power. Characters within 3 squares.
Opposing characters.
Yeah, opposing characters within 3 squares can't use that chosen power.
Yeah.
Or team ability.
Yeah.
Power or team ability. That ruins Hydra team abilities, ruins police department, mystics. It
Most
turns
of the
off
time,
a lot of things.
and the thing is, it's like the best outwit there is. And that's what makes it super good, because you're choosing. And on that click, doesn't she also have shape change?
No, that's her trait.
Her trait. She has shape change.
If she's closer to your opponent's starting zone than yours, she gets shape change and stealth.
That's pretty ridiculous.
So you move her halfway,
more than halfway across the line,
and top dial, stealth, shape change, super senses for 60 points, and she shuts down the other characters.
Yeah, gets a lot of work done for 60 points.
Utility. That's the name of the game.
There you go.
Utility.
It almost reminds me a little bit of Cerise in that she was kind of the Swiss Army knife of trying to get things done. We saw a lot of Cerise play when Wolverine and the X-Men came out.
Yep.
And the only reason I think we stopped seeing Cerise was Brother Voodoo.
Who is no longer an option anymore because he's rotated out.
So, and Cerise has with but
no, Wolverine X-Men still in.
Still in? Okay, my bad. Oh, my apologies. But Peggy Carter for 60 points. Plus this, you can't ever not think about the shield team ability, giving +1 to range,
or giving an action, or +1 to damage.
Action to give +1 to damage. You get a lot of things done.
Another character is that Nick Fury. Super Rare Nick Fury. With
the yes. The Nick Fury with the sniper rifle, the super rare out of the Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, he kind of does what Peggy Carter does, except he does it with anybody within range and line of fire. One character within range and line of fire. And whenever he targets the highest point character, he gets +1
attack and +1 damage. Super good.
Not bad. Piece I'm still looking for.
For that's a pretty amazing piece, and I think the number one reason it's kind of overpowered is that he ignores elevated for shooting people, and I think ignores characters as well. I'm not positive on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, being able to pick a mountain map, Wondergore Mountains or whatever, there's been several over the years, and shoot anybody from just the worst positioning possible. I mean, that's Yondu level. Let's put it that way. That's Yondu level. Oh, Yondu. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, when we go back to no tactics, if that's what we do for the next season, I'm assuming we'll see some Yondu pop back up.
Yeah,
Yondu Mantis was a formidable opponent. We were very interested to see
Yondu Mantis and a bunch of power.
But I actually was kind of curious about why we've stopped seeing so many gluttonies, and there's just we had gluttonies and sloth show up quite a bit. But those seem to have fallen by the wayside.
I'm surprised Sloth hasn't shown up more. I mean, I think that's probably the best one. I don't know. The Gluttony Deadman team was always pretty fun.
Yeah, it was the Gluttony Deadman, which almost could run all three Resurrection Man, Gluttony, and Deadman.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the free. We still see the free action move penetrating poison teams. We see Swift, who can move as a free action, and then when a character with wing symbol on their team moves, so that they fly and move it all, then you get to get a free action to a move for free penetrating poison, carrying a whole bunch of characters with you, because once again you're allowed free actions even if you carry somebody. So basically they would play like Swift, Red Battery, Despotellis, and then just
That's it.
that you just took 5 penetrating poison from from across the map.
That's intense.
So we still see those teams. And they're actually very difficult to play correctly sometimes. We see a lot of people kind of struggle with positioning and placement.
Yeah, because at that point, it honestly becomes more about positioning and placement.
Yeah,
It's not as random as or straightforward, you know. Because if you screw that up, you're pretty much dead in the water.
Well, you know, and the thing is, it's about getting close enough to be able to move in next turn and not get completely destroyed. Because Swift, to be honest, doesn't have that many clicks out.
All right, so here's a question. With all these pieces we've talked about, do you think it's going to be more about long range or short range or melee as far as RC? You think we're going to see more long range teams?
Overall, what I think the actual meta pans out to be is we have teams that want to establish a foothold somewhere in the map and then call in as many ID characters that are viable. Yeah, you can call in Thor, but I think you still want to be able to call in Ronan and Wonder Man. Yeah. So they're going to be your brawlers to take care of things you can't. Obviously, the round table, I really haven't. I honestly keep wanting to play the round table.
Yeah, I haven't used the round table.
I have not used the round table. I've used the ID cards plenty, but using the round table, it's not even like
it's a utility belt.
Yeah,
basically what it is. It's the Marvel version of the utility belt.
It kind of feels like
except with ID cards.
So I mean, I think it's still viable, but I think the lanterns are just ultimately more powerful.
Yeah. You can't get past.
And the ability to use ID cards with the lanterns is almost broken at that point. I mean, eventually I think something will happen. Where
no, can they? Hold on a second.
What?
I'm sure some of you would not appreciate that. I probably never shoot it. I'm like,
you looking? I don't know.
You can call in characters and assign them.
Yes, you have
constructs.
Yeah, you call in a character. Power battery gets an action, assigns the construct. Now it'll go back to the battery once the character goes away. But there's absolutely no reason you can't. Kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of disgusting, actually.
Anyway, who else have we seen a lot of very recently? I can't really think. I mean, we obviously all the Avengers, the standard Avengers, the Thor, the Hulk, the Wonder Man. Ronan, of course, being, I'll be honest, I got completely destroyed by a Ronan. I just thought, you know what, the only character left on his team was something I did not fear, and I got too close, and then Ronan popped out, came over, and drumsticked my face. And bam, 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 and I was gone.
Like Foghat.
Yeah.
That's my drummer.
That's my drummer, yeah, so the drummer from Foghat. So we've seen him get a lot of work done. I really like...
I like that. Go ahead.
I like the Hulk. I like the Hulk as a, not even as a piece you call in. Any piece that's 100 points with a stop click I adore, and I think I've said that before. Like I said, I played M10 Dark Phoenix hundreds. I played it probably more than any piece I've ever owned is M10 Dark Phoenix. Just because 10
and
range.
don't forget that whenever he clears, he gives a shield character
a research token, and they can use that way, including himself.
So you slap some utility on the Hulk, basically.
Yeah. The Hulk
took a character
that probably shouldn't have outwit.
You gave a character a pocket knife, and he definitely didn't need a pocket knife.
And then, of course, his stop click being one of the more amazing stop clicks in the game, because on a 5 or 6, he just ignores the damage.
What does he do? I don't even know what he does.
Yeah, his number of stop click happens 2 clicks in. So
damage, stop turning it down. Hope you don't damage. Roll a d6. Can't be rolled.
Yeah, on a 5 or 6.
Vulnerably, invincible, and ignoring the damage.
Yeah, ignoring the damage outright can't be countered or ignored. So you can go. He goes pulse blade for 4. You're like 5, nothing.
6,
nothing. We did it. Yeah, we did it again. And then he goes, well, I finally. He really has to do a lot of work. And if you hit that 5 or 6, they can't ever bring him down. I mean, technically, as long as you're lucky enough, he can't die.
Yeah.
which is kind of absurd. Now, granted, we know the games don't go that way, unfortunately, but it's still rather amusing how much damage that Hulk can get.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting.
Of course, he's got traded super strength, and and of course, our favorite thing is he's not a giant, so he can be carried, which
can pilot.
Yes, and can pilot things. So I don't know why that's fair. I don't know why we can have the Wasp carry the Hulk. I know it seems absurd, but it is part of the game rules. So we've seen a lot of kind of goofiness. Plus, I saw somebody make the Hulk tiny with Hank Pym's particles, and then the Hulk hitched a ride on.
That's awesome.
It's funny. The story is way funnier than the actual.
That's beautiful.
So what?
Oh, the Nova.
Oh, the Nova.
card.
The Nova card, yeah.
Avengers Assembled Nova, right? The one that can pulse wave
I'm
with
not
the lock
sure.
damage value of 2.
Yeah, it's a 60-point. There's a 60-point Nova. It's a very low pointed Nova.
Running shot pulse wave.
With a lock damage value of 2. And
Calling that in.
yeah, can really turn the tide of battle against
Unless
a
you roll
lot.
2 1s.
Unless you roll 2 1s, and that's not a joke about Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
But I honestly think that it's, I don't know, man. Like, because like you said, I think the games might take longer if people, especially if people are using ID cards.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you someone's going to run a Quinjet team and just sit back and call ID cards, try to get the dial up.
Try to get the dial up, get some free points early in the game. And the thing is, literally, I mean, there's nothing preventing you from going, I move 1 square, I give it an action token, next turn I clear.
Yep.
I'll let you come to me, I'll call it ID cards, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, we always have to remember 5 or more squares, the ID character goes away, so there's still that engaged section.
So I think it's going to be more of a fish, like a baiting game.
Yeah.
To where you're wanting them to get closer to you. That way you can call in your Ronins, your Hulks, your Wonder Man, and stuff like that. You just completely wreck house.
Yeah.
And then you have paying a card or turn anything off.
And then of course, like I said, we have to also. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to be a good team, but I've played it several times, and it's a very fun team to play. It's not a fun team to play against. The army of 30-point Ultron drones for 300 points is.
We played what, 4 or 5 games?
4 or 5.
One.
You had to build against it, and you won 1. You had to literally do everything in your power to play Hank Pym, who could be targeted.
Yeah.
And keep away with that Captain America.
Keeping them out of everybody's reach.
But to be honest, the big reason that the 30-point Ultron Swarm is so viable is that, normally in a 300-point game you get 3 actions. You're done.
Well
don't
forget
forget
about your map roll.
Yeah. Well, you also get +10 to map roll. That's a little unfair.
10 different Ultrons, right?
10 different Ultrons. Well, most of the time it's 6 different Ultrons or maybe 2 Ultron 1s. But the big point of it is the Ultron 8s have one of the best secondary clicks of all of them, which is running shot 11, penetrating psychic blast for 4.
Yeah.
Which is just tons and tons of damage for a 30-point character, more than they should be allowed to deal. And then, of course, Ultrons, if they start or begin their action next to another character named Ultron, they have willpower for it, and it's very easy to do that.
And if they don't have any action tokens, their actions don't count toward your action total.
Yeah, so any Ultrons that clear the turn previous are guaranteed to get to do something next turn. For free. I mean, that doesn't even count towards your action total for the turn.
An Avenger
so the
team
first
ability,
turn, you can move all 10 pieces into different places. So we as we saw, it's even when built against, it's still very, very, very difficult to take
it's pretty disgusting.
So we saw something very similar, but we didn't see the full-blown just 10 Ultrons to deal with.
I honestly think Pulse Wave will just wreck it, though.
Pulse Wave is very, very good. But the problem is doing Pulse Wave on one of them doesn't work unless it's the Ultron 1 hanging out.
Because the Ultron 1's defensive ability says whenever an Ultron will get KO'd.
An Ultron with an autonomous or drone thing gets KO'd.
You roll a d6 on a
4, 5, or 6, it goes back to the starting zone on his first click behind the drone.
So you keep the Ultron 1 in the back.
Yeah.
You throw all these drones up front. When they die, you roll a 4, 5, or 6. Hey, look, it comes back.
And WizKids has ruled that if you run 2 Ultron 1s,
they stack.
So you
can roll twice.
You roll the thing is, I have actually considering what happens if you really ran 10 of them, and that just made me a bad person. Because guess this one's coming back. How many times could you roll
10 Ultron 1s.
10 Ultron 1s. They're not great hitters, but it would just be the most. Now, the only saving grace to that is your opponent still gets the points when they die.
Yeah.
So that still does happen. But yes, the WizKids has ruled that if you have 2 Ultron 1s, you can roll for 2 Ultron 1s. And by extension, if you have 10 Ultron 1 drones, you can roll 10 times.
Oh my Jesus!
And they can also roll for themselves because it says any friendly character. So pick up your Ultron 1s. Is there any other?
Defensive ability that they lose. They only have it on.
Yeah, they only have it on 1 click.
They only have it on 1 click. But yeah, they don't have it. Yeah, they don't have
drone ones.
Yeah, they don't have when they get KO'd themselves. Yeah, which is not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal at all.
Not if you run 10 of them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I think it kind of wraps up this episode. I mean, what do you guys think? Meta? What have you seen in your local metas?
Yeah. Let us know. I mean,
if you got some top secret meta stuff that we can talk about on the internet and not ruin your ROC, then please let us know.
Yes. And for those of you going to the ROC, good luck.
Yeah.
Watch out for those Ultrons.
Yes. Watch out for Paris Gordon.
yeah, Paris Gordon. Watch out for that guy. Other than that, I've been Raven.
I'm MJ.
This has been a Stop Click.
Thanks for watching.